Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We have come to the last session of our Connected Fleet conference. This presentation is about the challenges when setting up a connected fleet program. Mr. Ricardo Centeno, Fleet Director of BPA Ibérica Lactalis, is going to talk about the challenges of setting up a telematics program and provide insight into the expectations for the industry. Please don't forget to send your questions via chat box. So thank you very much for being here with us today, Ricardo.
Thank you.
If you are ready, you can go on with your presentation.
Perfect, and thank you to all for attending this session. I hope it will be interesting for other fleets and also inspiring for telematic companies. As said, I am Ricardo Centeno, Fleet Director for Lactalis Spain, and I'm going to present the challenges when setting up a connected fleet program. I'm going to try to explain why we decided to launch this pilot, the Connected Fleet program, how we have done it, the challenges and obstacles we have had in the process, and also the learning experience we have so far, because in fact we are in the middle of the pilot. But before that, Lactalis. Lactalis is the first dairy company in the world. We are present in 94 countries, producing milk products, cheese, yogurts, butter, ingredients for nutrition. And our headquarters are in a small village in France named Laval, where the company started in 1933, producing 3 camembert cheeses. And well, now it's a multinational company. In Spain, we have 2,500 employees, 8 factories. 4 of them are milk factories, 3 cheese factories, 1 distribution center, and 3 sites in Madrid, Barcelona, and Granada. We have 3 international brands, President, Galvani, Parmalat, some international multi-country brands, Société, Santal, La Lechera, and some local brands, Flor de Sieva, El Ventero, Gran Capitán, Puleva, Damira. Our fleet in Spain. Our fleet in Spain is formed by 350 light vehicles, which are company cars, and they are remuneration in kind. So, in fact, our fleet is not doing neither distribution, nor logistic, nor deliveries. It's what I call a standard company car fleet for our commercial team and also for our managers and our directors. What makes us special is that we have all the vehicles in property, and we also do all the fleet management by ourselves. So from the acquisition of the vehicles to the remarketing of the vehicles, we manage everything: maintenance, breakdowns, accident management, fuel management, fine management, everything is managed by ourselves. And one of the key points of this presentation, why we decided to launch this pilot for Connected Fleet, because for some years, every month we receive several calls from different telematics suppliers offering their services, and we have always said no, no, no. And why finally we said yes, we want to do the pilot, is because they offered us something different. Because why? Because they offer us a different perspective, not focus on the position of the vehicles, in the geolocation of the vehicles, but in the vehicles data. Because for us, the position of the vehicles was not so important. As said, we have a company cars vehicles. We are not doing distribution, we are not doing deliveries. So for us, it's not important, the position of the vehicles. What is important is the vehicles data. Also, another strength point was that the device was inside the vehicle. The BTA, the Boat Telematic Autonom, was inside the vehicle from the factory. And also it was easy to start with a remote activation. So we didn't have to introduce any device in the vehicle. We didn't have to put anything from outside the vehicle inside. Also, because they offered us a long pilot with 90 vehicles connected. 90 vehicles means 25% of our fleet. So it's quite good for doing a pilot. And we consider that in 1 month, in 2 months, it's very difficult to see all the benefits of the connected fleet. You need more time to test, really to do a good test on the connected fleet. Also, another important point was that the driver could see the same information for her vehicle as we as fleet managers could see in the platform, the same information in the same format, which it's easy to say, but not so easy to do, because that means that in the platform, we have to create its driver, link its driver to her vehicle, and give all the permissions needed to see the data of the vehicle. It took time. It takes time, but it was possible, and that was important for us. And what data we were going to see, and we are seeing, and we are interested in this data. Mileage, the number of kilometers, it's as simple as that, and as difficult as that, because for a fleet manager without connectivity, without connected fleet, only have 3 ways of knowing the exact kilometer as an exact time of a vehicle. The first one is when the driver is refueling its vehicle, and the driver gives the mileage of the vehicle with the fuel card. That's the first way of knowing the kilometers of the vehicle. The second is when it goes to the garage, and the garage calls you to ask for an order repair, and you ask them the mileage of the vehicle. And the other one is call a driver and ask for the exact mileage of the vehicle. So with connected fleet, you have that small advantage, which is knowing all the mileage of all the vehicles every time, at every moment. Many more data, the average speed, the consumption, the fuel tank, also the alerts. Alerts are important for us because it's great to know when one vehicle has low level of oil or low level of pressure in their tires. And well, I remember when we first called one driver and we said, 3 minutes ago, we received an alert from your vehicle saying that you have low level of oil. So he was impacted. It's amazing. What do you need? How can we help you? Are you going to the garage now? So it's great. Also because we have when it's going to happen, the next maintenance. If the next maintenance is in 2,000 kilometers, 3,000 kilometers, or if the next maintenance or the maintenance is overdue. So it's important for us. The vehicles have to have a good maintenance. Also, it's very, very important to have the emissions, the CO2 emissions of the vehicles. Also, eco-driving tips. Also rating in speed up, in braking, in curves, how you are managing and driving with the coal engine. So all those information are really, really important for us. So once connected, we could see this kind of report, many reports. I'm going to show you just one of it regarding the emission of CO2. Here we see the 3 best drivers' vehicles in terms of emissions. We can see that in this example, with 170,000 kilometers, the average consumption is nearly 6 liters. The emissions are 160 grams CO2 with an average speed of 45 kilometers per hour. So a lot of information, and this vehicle, we have deleted the plate numbers. This vehicle, it's only emitting 116 grams CO2 per kilometer. This one is emitting 122, 124, and for each one, it's rates in speed up, in braking, in coal engine. So very, very interesting reports. And also something that impacts us is that we have all the timelines of the vehicles. So for this vehicle, we see that he started the vehicle at 8:10 in the morning, a very small trip. Then at 8:30, more or less, it continued until 8:50. Then another small trips. Then from 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock. So we see the timeline of all the fleet. And we can see in this vehicle, for example, it started the engine at 2 o'clock in the morning for quarter an hour or for 10 minutes. So it's true that we were not interested in the position of the vehicles. And with that, we were avoiding one of the most complicated private data, that is the position of the vehicle. So in fact, we didn't have problems with the GDPR, with data protection. But although we don't have the position of the vehicle, we have a lot of information of the vehicles. From our point of view, the information of when you start and when you stop the vehicle, it's quite sensible. That's important. Because when we decided to start the project, they told us, well, as you are not going to have the position of the vehicle, you are not going to have any problem with the data protection, so you don't need to communicate to drivers. But we decided to communicate to drivers. We decided to send to them a mail explaining why we were launching the project, where the benefits of the project, and explaining many things of the project. So we also told them that they could see their own information of their own vehicle, and we said to them that if they have any question, they could call us and they could write us. And really, they did. They call us, many of them call us, and asking plenty of questions. Some of them because they were interested, but many others because they were concerned. Because nobody wants to be controlled, nobody wants to be tracked. No matter you have the position or not, you are going to have data of their vehicles. So, as said, and as we have seen in the previous slide, although we don't have the position, we have what we call sensible data. Because the fleet we have, it's a company car fleet. So it can be used without any problem during the weekends, during the holidays. So why my car has to be providing information if I am starting it at 5 o'clock in the morning, or if I am stopping it at 2 o'clock in the morning? So the possibility of disconnect or not disconnect the data desired, the possibility of disconnect and then reconnect the data of the PTA at desired was really, really important. And the way to disconnect and to reconnect the BAT telematic autonomous, how we could do that. So we realized, and we thought that every driver in the pilot could disconnect and then reconnect the data at desire. But that was in the pilot, we discovered that that was not the case. Because of the different versions of the BTA, the different version of the device, half of the vehicles could disconnect their data and half not. So we decided to contact again to the drivers and say, your vehicle you can disconnect at your desire your data whenever you want and as many times as you want, or you cannot disconnect your data at all. Do you want to participate in this pilot? And well, it was a surprise because not because 68% decided to agree to participate in the pilot, because we thought that those who could disconnect and reconnect their data were going to participate, and those who couldn't were going to say that they didn't want to participate. But no, 68% agreed, and the percentage that agreed was the same of those who could disconnect or not. Although, for sure, disconnecting at desire was an added value for the drivers. So, one of the obstacles we have had in the process is how to disconnect and reconnect the data by the driver, if they were possible, if it was possible, and how to do it. Because at the beginning, we thought that those vehicles who could disconnect the data, it was done with the screen of the vehicle. But doing the testing, we realized that no, most of them couldn't disconnect through the screen of the vehicle, and they had to do it with doing a double push on the button of SOS button and the make button. So it's simple to do, but it was not done by the menu on the screen of the vehicles. Another obstacle in the process was that we received some alerts that were fake, that they were not real alerts when the vehicles were in the workshop, when the vehicle was being repaired, and they connect the machine to see the breakdown on how to repair the vehicle. We received alerts on that, so that was a surprise. Also, because they lose signal when they were in a garage. When a vehicle goes into a garage, you don't see that the vehicle has lost the signal until the vehicle is once again outside in the road. And also we had some problems because if one vehicle is not providing proper data, that can disturb the full report. So far, the learning experience that we have had, first one is communicate as much as possible. You have to communicate with legal in order to check the data privacy. You have to communicate with HR, with managers, but for sure you have to communicate with the drivers, because at the end, if you want to obtain the benefits of connected fleet, you need that the drivers are involved. You need the drivers involved. You need to involve them as much as possible. If not, it's not possible that they are going to decrease their consumption. They are not going to decrease their emissions of CO2. They have to be involved. They have to be. They have to enter in the website, in the application, to see their emissions, to see how they are driving, to see the eco-driving tips, and they have to be involved. So that's very important. Another learning experience is that as every project, it takes time. It takes time. We have said only to set up the different user and password for everyone, and to link every driver with its vehicle. It takes time. Everything takes time. takes time to explain the project. Also, that is very important to have a roadmap of what you want to do. You want to connect your fleet, all your fleet, part of your fleet. What do you want to obtain? Do you want to involve the drivers? Do you want to launch a challenge for the drivers in order to decrease their emissions, to see who is the driver who can decrease the emissions as much as possible? And for sure, one of the most important learning experience that you don't need a telematics supplier. What you need is a partner, because you are going to need their help during all the process, for sure. So now it's the time for the questions.
Thank you, Ricardo, for the presentation. Your pilot projects provided many interesting insights, as we saw. So one of the figures that caught my eye, which was really interesting, that was the participation of the drivers. So it's due to the technical problems, and also I think the approach of the drivers themselves. So I want to ask, is it hard for drivers, or how hard it is for drivers to adapt to telematics?
Well, at the beginning, I said, some of them say, I really like telematics, I really like applications, I want to see all the data of my vehicle, I am a fanatic of all these kind of things, and I really like them. But at the end, most of them, what they say is the drivers, they are concerned about if they are tracked or not, if they are going to be controlled, if the goal of the project is control the drivers, and that's not the goal of the project. So you have to explain to them very well which are the benefits, why you are doing that project. Explain to them that it's very important, the consumption, the emissions, that they can improve, that they can improve. Not only that, they can also improve their safety. So if you are able to explain it well, if you are able to involve them, the success of the connected fleet is going to be for sure.
And what are the biggest challenges for you as a fleet manager in the process of adapting to telematics, like communication with the drivers or choosing the right telematics supplier?
For me, the most difficult is to see the long term, and that's why we wanted to start a pilot. Just to many times you need to test to see the benefits and to see the added value that you are going to have with the telematics. So you have to test, you have to prove by yourself, and you have to see all the issues you have, in the challenges you have in the process. So for the future, well, it's many of them has been said during this day. So the different systems that are in the market, that the system don't talk together. You can have part of your fleet with one telematic system, one part of the fleet with other, and they don't speak each other. So those are, yes, challenges for sure.
And what, after gaining insights about your fleet operations, what areas you expect to benefit the most from telematics in the future?
I think that our first and most simple way of benefit from the telematics is in fuel consumption and in CO2 emissions. For me, it's the most simple one. The next one would be a better maintenance of the vehicles and trying to avoid important breakdowns because of continue running without oil, because continue running when the vehicle is saying, please stop. That's for us is also important. But a challenge is to see if really, for example, we are going to have less penalties, less fines. I'm not sure of that. And I'm not sure of that if we are going to have less accidents. I have to see that by myself.
And what do you have to be careful at when choosing the telematics supplier?
Is the last learning experience I said. You need not a telematic supplier, you need a telematic partner, because you don't need one product and that's all, and you buy it and no. It's something that you need to be help, you need their experience, you need their help, and you need their help during all the process.
And in the process of data analysis, I mean, do you have challenges in that process? So do you get all necessary, all the data, all the results that you require from telematics?
We have plenty of reports. We have plenty, some of them are fixed, some of them are flexible, some of them can be adapted. So many reports. But from my point of view, and asking for a dream, I would like to have a telematic system that could talk and could be the basis of a fleet management system and be all together. Not only receiving data, but also being able to do all the fleet management, be linked to the fleet management.
Okay. And in the near future, in which area you want to benefit from the telematics most? I mean, in terms of ecology of driving, in terms of cost reduction, or driver safety, what is your priority at the moment?
As said, from my point of view, eco-driving is key. But if we also can achieve a reduction on the sinistrality, on the loss ratio, on the number of accidents, that would be great. But I have to experience that in our fleet by myself. I have to touch that.
Okay, and in terms of security in your fleet, what kind of updates have you done or are you thinking of doing?
Regarding telematics, I said, I need help on that to implement. Regarding other things, yes, we are doing trainings, we are providing information to drivers about how many accidents do we have during the year, about how is the sinistrality rate. Also, when there is an important accident, we always call the driver to obtain their vision of the accident. Whenever we can, we do a presentation regarding safety. Safety for us and for all the fleets is very, very, very important.
And what specific technology in terms of innovation will be helpful to you in the future, considering that video telematics perhaps or artificial intelligence? What are you thinking of using in the long term? As you mentioned, because you said that you are looking for the long term and for the solutions. What are you thinking?
Well, I think the technology is going to evolve. The technology is it's evolving. 10 years ago, there wasn't connected fleet. Now there are many connected fleet, but there are many fleet that they don't have any telematics right now. So there is a long path to go in the future, and it will, for sure, it will evolve. And now that for us, something that is a desire, for example, to be linked in the telematic with the fleet management system, probably in the nearly future, it will be done. It's one of the bases of the next steps. So I fully agree that telematics is the proof of success, for sure. But it's also true that there are challenges, many challenges when implemented in the fleet. and that you need a real partner to go through that path.
Okay, thank you very much, Ricardo, for your presentation and audience for listening. And I would like to invite everyone to the main stage for the lessons learned and final message from Stephen. Thank you again, Ricardo.
Thank you very much to you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.